My shift starts at 10:45 at night, which is early enough to catch the last dirty trays from supper, and late enough for day shift to pretend nothing unusual is still happening. Meadowbrook Gardens always smells different at that hour. Warm dishwater from the kitchen, lotion from the residents' rooms, disinfectant in the hall corners, a little urine near the west wing carpet because the old building never dries right after evening rounds. I clock in beside the employee entrance, press my thumb to the machine twice because it does not read the first print, and pull my badge out from under my sweatshirt. Maria Vale, licensed practical nurse. The badge is scratched across my face because I dropped it in the parking lot last winter, and a maintenance cart rolled over it. The front lobby is quiet except for the television mounted above the fireplace. The news anchor is smiling with no sound. Closed captions crawl under his chin about a recall on packaged salad somewhere 3 states away. The glass doors are locked for the night. The fake plants in the lobby still have their plastic dust, and the visitor sign-in desk has a bowl of peppermint candy that nobody with swallowing precautions should ever touch. I wave at Pete, the security guard, through the little office window. He lifts 2 fingers without looking up from his phone. I work the long-term care side, not the assisted living apartments. That matters. People outside the building always call it a retirement home, but my wing is closer to a slow hospital with carpet and bad art. The residents need help with transfers, toileting, feeding, oxygen tubing, crushed pills in applesauce, bed alarms, mouth care, skin checks, and every small thing that makes a body keep going after independence is gone. A person can look peaceful under a quilt and still need 6 separate tasks done before midnight. The schedule taped to the nurse station already tells me the night is going to be thin. Brenda is the registered nurse for both long-term wings. I have South Hall. Rosa has North Hall. Malik floated from memory care because 2 aides called off with stomach problems. The dementia unit has 1 agency aide named Tiffany, who does not know the door codes yet. There are 86 residents under the same roof, not counting assisted living across the breezeway, and the building is pretending 4 of us can hear every bed alarm and answer every call light. Brenda is sitting at the nurse station with her glasses low on her nose, clicking through the electronic chart. She has a paper cup of coffee beside her, untouched, with skin forming on top. She looks up when I set my lunch bag under the counter. "Before you ask," she says, "yes, it is already stupid." "That bad?" Mrs. Alvarez bit Nina at dinner. I stop with my hand on the medcart key drawer. Bit her how? Finger. Nina was helping with the supplement drink. Mrs. Alvarez clamped down. Broke skin, not awful. Still incident report. Mrs. Alvarez is 91, bedbound since a stroke and too polite to complain even when her shoulder is hurting. She apologizes when we roll her. She thanks us when we wipe her mouth. She has no upper teeth unless her daughter remembers to bring the denture cup from the sink. The idea of her biting anybody sounds wrong enough that I wait for Brenda to add more. Brenda rubs her forehead. She also threw up after the vanilla supplement, then she went limp. Vitals looked okay except low-grade fever. Doctor on call said monitor. Push fluids. Hold the bedtime iron. Same old. Anybody else? Half the dining room had loose stool or nausea after dinner. Kitchen says it was the beef gravy. Carver says it was probably a bug going around. Corporate says do not use the phrase food poisoning in chart notes. There it is, corporate. I have been in the building 7 years, long enough to know the difference between clinical caution and legal caution. Clinical caution says check temperatures, isolate symptoms, call families when needed, and stop giving the thing people might have reacted to. Legal caution says use soft words until the truth has already done damage. I look at the supply counter behind the station. 3 cases of medical nutrition drinks sit stacked beside the fax machine. Redicare Complete, vanilla, 8-ounce cartons, thick enough for residents who need calories and can still swallow thin liquids. The cardboard is fresh, the edges sharp from delivery. A torn packing slip hangs from the top case. New lot? I ask. Brenda follows my eyes. Delivered this afternoon. Kitchen ran out of the old one. The supplier sent emergency stock. Did Mrs. Alvarez drink from that? Most of them did. It is on the supper tray for anyone below weight. She gives me a tired look. Do not start, Maria. We do not have anything yet. I do not answer. Starting is how trouble gets named, and nobody wants the first person who names trouble. I open the medcart drawer, sign out my keys, and begin the first pass. South Hall has 22 rooms, plus the little sunroom where nobody sits after dark because the motion light outside flickers. The floor shines under the overhead fixtures. Somebody buffed it that afternoon, and the rubber wheels of my medication cart squeak in clean little bursts. Most doors are half open. That is how we do it at night unless a resident or family requests privacy. A closed door can hide a fall for too long. In room 112, Mr. Farrow is awake with his television off. He sits high in bed, oxygen cannula in his nose, thin hands folded over the blanket. He used to run a hardware store. He remembers every staff member's schedule better than the staffing coordinator. "You are late," he says. "I am 3 minutes early. Clock in the hall says different. The clock in the hall has been wrong since Easter." He accepts this because he complains about that clock every night and never lets maintenance fix it. I scan his wristband, scan his pills, and give him the tiny cup. He takes his blood pressure medication 1 pill at a time. He coughs once after the last sip of water. "Dinner tasted off," he says. "The gravy? No, the sweet drink. The one in the box. I told the girl it tasted sour. She said it was vanilla." He looks embarrassed by the complaint. I did not want to waste it. I take the water cup from his tray table. "Did you finish it most? Any nausea?" "Not now." "Cold, though." His room is 74 degrees. I touch the back of my gloved fingers to his forehead. Warm. Not burning, but warmer than his normal. I make a note on my sheet. I do not put anything in the chart yet because a single low fever in long-term care is not a warning bell. It is a Tuesday. The next rooms follow the usual rhythm. Mrs. Patatel needs her inhaler and asks whether her son called. He called at 8, but she slept through it. Mr. Beck refuses his stool softener with clear language that does not belong in a family facility. Clara Dobbs wants to know whether the buses are running because she thinks she has to get to work at the bank. I tell her the bank is closed tonight. She tells me I am a sweet girl and asks for her mother. At room 119, the rhythm changes. Ruth Kessler is standing by her dresser with her nightgown tucked into her brief and one slipper missing. She is usually a night wanderer, so at first I only park the cart and go in gently. Ruth is 87, strong in the upper body, and quick when she decides a door is a train platform. She has dementia with old routines buried deep. She can fold towels for an hour, but she cannot find the bathroom 5 feet from her bed. "Ruth, it is Maria, let's get your slipper." She turns toward me and her face is wet from mouth to chin. Not vomit, saliva, her lips work without words. Her eyes track me, then move to the med cup in my hand, then back to my face. There is something focused in her that I do not usually see after sundown. "Did you drink your supplement at dinner?" I ask, mostly to hear her voice. She makes a low sound and steps forward, her bare foot slides on the floor. I put one hand out to stop her from falling. She grabs my wrist hard enough to twist the glove, her nails press through the vinyl. "Easy, Ruth, let go." Her mouth opens. She leans toward my hand, not fast, but with purpose. I pull back, and her teeth close on empty air. The sound is small. It still makes me step away too quickly. My hip hits the dresser. A framed picture falls flat beside a hairbrush. Ruth stares at my wrist. She reaches again. I hit the call button on the wall, then use my shoulder to keep distance while I guide her toward the bed. She resists, not violent exactly, determined. Her hands keep searching for skin. When Rosa appears in the doorway, Ruth turns toward her and makes the same low sound. "Gloves," I tell Rosa. Rosa already has gloves on. She takes Ruth by the elbow and speaks in Spanish, not because Ruth understands it, but because Rosa uses the same voice for frightened residents and frightened animals. Calm, firm. No panic. Together we get Ruth seated. Ruth bends forward and tries to bite Rosa's forearm through the scrub sleeve. Rosa jerks away. "What the heck? Did she have the vanilla drink?" Everybody had the drink. Rosa holds her forearm away from her body. The cloth is wet but not torn. "She almost got me. We need to tell Brenda." Ruth starts chewing on the edge of her blanket. Not sucking. Chewing, I remove it before she gets threads in her mouth. She snaps at my glove, and I step back. In normal care, you redirect. You give a washcloth. You check pain, bladder, fever, blood sugar, medication changes, hunger, constipation, room temperature. You do not assume danger because an old woman with dementia tries to bite. Biting happens. Scratching happens. A resident can hit you with a reacher, then cry because she thinks you are her sister. The job teaches you not to take it personally. It also teaches you which behavior belongs to a person and which behavior does not. This does not belong to Ruth. Brenda comes down with the forehead thermometer and a pulse oximeter. Ruth will not let us get the blood pressure cuff on her arm. She keeps turning her head toward our hands. Brenda tries the thermometer. 100.8, pulse high, oxygen okay. Blood sugar 132, nothing clean, nothing dramatic. Possible urinary tract infection, Brenda says, but her voice is not settled. She tried to bite both of us. She has dementia. Not this way. Brenda looks at Ruth. Ruth looks at Brenda's throat. Brenda steps back without meaning to. I see it. Rosa sees it too. Document behavior, Brenda says. I will call Dr. Henley again after I check Mrs. Alvarez. Should we hold the supplement drinks? I ask. We already gave dinner. Bedtime snack has more. The kitchen always sends extras for weight loss residents. Brenda closes her eyes for 1 second. Do not distribute any more until I talk to Carver. That is enough for me. It should have been enough for everyone. At 11:20 at night, the first bed alarm goes off in North Hall, then another in memory care. Then one from room 116 on my side. The nurse station panel lights up in red boxes, each box chirping with a number. It is not unusual for alarms to overlap. It is unusual for 5 residents who rarely stand to be out of bed in the same 10 minutes. I find Mr. Dorsey halfway to the bathroom with no walker. He has Parkinson's, stiff legs, and a fear of falling so strong he normally waits for help even when angry. Tonight he is moving without caution, hands out, head low. His brief is loose. His mouth is wet. The room smells sour from the trash bin beside his bed. His supper tray has a crushed vanilla carton on it, straw still bent. Harlan, stop. Your walker is behind you. He does not stop. He turns toward my voice, grabs the doorframe, and pulls himself into the hall. His knees shake. He should not be able to move that quickly without freezing. I put the cart brake on and step in front of him. He reaches for my sleeve, not for balance. His fingers claw and close. I keep the cart between us and call for Malik. Mr. Dorsey pushes against the cart with his chest. Medicine cups rattle in the drawers. His dentures click. The sound is faint and dry and awful. Malik comes running from the shower room with a towel around his neck. Is he falling? He is trying to bite. Malik does not question it. He grabs the gate belt from the wall hook, loops it around Mr. Dorsey from behind, and pulls him back with controlled force. Mr. Dorsey snaps at the belt. Malik swears softly, not loud enough for residents to hear. We get Mr. Dorsey into a wheelchair because the bed feels impossible. Malik locks both brakes. I use a sheet to keep Mr. Dorsey's hands down, loose enough not to injure him, tight enough to stop him from grabbing. It feels wrong. Every restraint rule I have ever learned lights up in my head, but his mouth keeps searching for Malik's wrist. From the hall, Rosa calls, "Maria!" There is a tone in her voice that gets me moving before I answer. I leave Malik with Mr. Dorsey and run toward North Hall. I do not run often in the building. Running scares residents. Tonight the alarms are already doing that. Near the linen closet, Mrs. Alvarez is on the floor. She should not be there. She cannot stand. She has not stood without a mechanical lift in 3 years. Her room is 6 doors away. Her left side is weak from the old stroke, and one slipper is still in bed when I glance through her open door. She has dragged herself with her good arm, leaving the blanket tangled around her hips. Nina, the day aide who got bitten at dinner, is kneeling beside her because she stayed late to finish paperwork. Nina's right index finger has a bandage. Mrs. Alvarez has Nina's left hand in both of her hands and is pulling it toward her mouth. "Let go," Nina says. Rosa wedges a pillow between Mrs. Alvarez's face and Nina's hand. I crouch and pry one finger at a time. Mrs. Alvarez is weak, but grip strength can survive everything else. Her eyes are open. She does not recognize us. She makes a small, hungry sound that I never want to hear from a woman I have tucked in for years. We free Nina. Her skin is not broken on the second hand. The bandaged finger from dinner has fresh red showing through the gauze. "Go wash," I tell her. "She was in bed," Nina says. "I just checked her. She was sleeping." "Wash now. Soap. Warm water. Brenda needs to look at your finger again." I am off the clock. "I know. Wash anyway." Nina backs away. She looks angry because fear has not found a better place to go. Rosa and I get Mrs. Alvarez onto a blanket. We cannot lift her safely with 2 people, so Malik has to leave Mr. Dorsey and help. Brenda arrives with the portable radio clipped to her pocket, breathing through her nose in that controlled way nurses use when a shift starts to break apart. This is not a urinary tract infection, I say. Brenda looks down the hall. 2 residents are standing in doorways. One is Mr. Beck, who walks fine with a cane and has a temper on normal nights. The other is Clara Dobbs, barefoot and smiling at nobody. Behind Brenda, the memory care doors bang once from the other side. Somebody in that wing is pushing on the locked exit. Brenda keys the staff radio. Tiffany, status in memory care. Static, then Tiffany's voice high and thin. I need help. Arthur is biting. I need help right now. Arthur Wells is 76. Former mail carrier, still strong enough to pull against 2 aides during showers. He wanders every night between 1 and 3 in the morning. He knows every exit by habit. If Arthur is biting inside the dementia wing, locked doors will keep him in. But they will also keep residents and Tiffany in with him. Brenda points to Malik. Memory care. Take the bite kit. Maria, come with me to Mrs. Alvarez's room. Rosa, keep Mr. Beck away from the station. The supplement drinks, I say again. Brenda turns on me. I heard you. No. Listen, Mr. Farrow said his tasted sour. Ruth had it. Dorsey had it. Alvarez had it. Beck probably had it. The kitchen still has cases. We stop it now. We stop water from the dining dispenser too until we know. Water? The evening hydration cart used the new dispenser jugs. I saw the empty blue caps in the pantry when I came in. She stares at me for half a second. I can see her making the map in her head. Dinner trays, supplement cartons, thickened water. Residents who need feeding, staff hands, mouth care bites. Then the radio pops again with Tiffany crying for someone to open the door. Pull the cases, Brenda says. Lock them in the med room. Do not throw anything out. I need lot numbers. Then help memory care. I run to the dining room. The dining room at night is usually harmless in a sad way. Chairs pushed in bibs in a plastic bin. Salt shakers removed because residents pocket them. Tonight the overhead lights are dimmed, and the room has too many shadows under tables. I hate that thought because shadows are not a clinical concern, but fear makes every ordinary thing look untrustworthy. On the side counter sit 2 open cases of Redicare Complete. Vanilla strawberry. The vanilla case is nearly empty. 6 cartons left. Beside it are 3 plastic water jugs for the hydration dispenser. The kind delivered sealed from a supplier when the building does not trust the old pipes after maintenance. 1 jug is half used, its cap sitting in the sink. The dispenser spigot has dried streaks down the front. I put on new gloves and read the lot number on the vanilla carton. Lot C17, plant code 9, best by March of next year. The same number is stamped on every carton in the open case. I pull the packing slip from the trash. 6 cases delivered at 2:15 p.m. Received by kitchen aid. Emergency substitution approved. I fold the slip and shove it into my scrub pocket. A noise comes from the kitchen entrance. I freeze with 3 cartons in my arms. It is only Len, the maintenance man, carrying a mop bucket. He is in his 60s, heavy around the middle, with a gray ponytail and a ring of keys that could open every bad decision in the building. Why are you stealing pudding? He asks. Not pudding. Help me move these cases to the med room. Kitchen said leave them. Health department might need them if this is food stuff. Then health department can find them locked up. Nobody drinks anymore. Len looks at my face and stops joking. He lifts 1 case. How bad? Bad enough. We carry the cases to the medication room behind the nurse station. The med room has a keypad lock, a small refrigerator, shelves of blister packs, wound supplies, insulin pens, and backup paper chart forms nobody likes using. I stack the drinks under the counter and tape a sign on the door with thick black marker. Do not use. Hold for nurse. I add water jugs too, then underline it twice. When I come out, Mr. Beck is at the nurse station. He is in pajama pants and a white undershirt, cane hanging from one wrist, gray hair flattened on one side. He has always been loud. He served in the Navy, hates soup, and has a daughter in Arizona who calls every Sunday and sends socks for every holiday. Tonight his eyes are red and spit gathers at the corners of his mouth. Rosa stands behind the counter with a plastic laundry basket between them because she has nothing better. Dennis, she says, go back to your room. Mr. Beck slams 1 hand on the counter, not a full slam, more a stiff drop. Hungry. I can get you crackers. He leans over the counter toward her arm. Rosa steps back. He lifts his cane and hooks it over the basket handle. pulling the basket aside with irritating old man precision. Even sick, he knows tools. He reaches for Rosa. I grab the rolling vital signs machine and shove it between his knees and the counter. Mr. Beck, sit down. He turns his head toward me. For a second I see him, not the thing happening to him. Him irritated, confused, ashamed by his own body. Then his mouth opens and the moment is gone. He lunges across the vital signs machine. It tips sideways. The blood pressure cuff swings from its hose. Rosa picks up the phone receiver from the desk and hits the overhead page. Brenda to nurse station now. Security to South Hall. Security to South Hall. Pete will come slowly. Pete always comes slowly. He is not trained for this. He is trained to tell visitors to leave and to write license plate numbers when families park in the ambulance bay. I pull the fire door release at the cross hall. The South Hall fire doors swing out from the walls and meet in the middle with a heavy clunk. They are not locked, but they slow movement and split the wing. Mr. Beck is on our side of them. So are 4 residents in rooms 110 through 115, including Mrs. Paddle on oxygen and Mr. Farrow. The rest of the hall is separated. It is not a solution. It is 10 seconds of thinking space. Mr. Beck hits the doors with his cane once, twice. Then he gets bored with the doors and turns back toward us. Rosa whispers, "Maria, I know." I take the medication cart keys from my pocket and unlock the bottom drawer. We do not have weapons. We have tools, scissors for bandages, a blood pressure cuff, a flashlight, a stapler, tongue depressors, Roll gauze, a heavy red sharps container locked into the wall. I take the gate belt, wrap one end around my hand, and keep the buckle hanging. Pete arrives from the lobby, breathing hard, keys bouncing against his belt. "What is going on?" "Keep him away from us," to his mouth. Pete laughs because the sentence is too strange for his brain. "What?" Mr. Beck moves on him. Pete reaches out to hold his shoulders. Mr. Beck bites the side of Pete's hand. PT screams. Not a word, just pain and shock. He punches Mr. Beck in the chest without thinking, and Mr. Beck stumbles into the wall. I hate Pete for that punch and understand it in the same second. Mr. Beck slides down to one knee, then pushes himself back up. Pete stares at his hand. The skin is open between thumb and wrist. Blood runs into the lines of his palm. "Sink," I tell him. "Wash now." He bit me, I saw. "Wash." The radio crackles again. Malik, breathless. Memory care needs the nurse. Arthur got Tiffany. He got Mrs. too. I have 3 residents in the activity room. I cannot hold him and move them. Brenda's voice answers from somewhere down the hall. "I am coming." Then the overhead phone rings. The main line after 11:30 usually means a family member in another time zone or a hospital calling with discharge papers nobody should send at midnight. Rosa grabs it because I am still watching Mr. Beck. Meadowbrook Gardens, North and South Nursing Station. She listens. "Yes, Mrs. Paddle is okay. She is sleeping." "No, we are not under evacuation." "Who told you that?" She looks at me. Family group texts move faster than administrators. One person hears there is vomiting at dinner. Another hears an ambulance might be called. Somebody posts in a private Facebook group. By midnight, half the families will know something is wrong and none of them will know the part that matters. I gesture for Rosa to keep the call short. Mr. Beck turns toward room 112. Mr. Farrow's door is open. Mr. Farrow is sitting upright, watching from his bed, oxygen tubing glowing pale against his cheeks under the fluorescent hall light. "No," I say. Mr. Beck walks toward him. I do not think. I move the cart fast, ramming it between Mr. Beck and the doorway. Medication cups spill inside the top drawer. The cart hits the jamb with a hard crack. Mr. Beck grabs the top edge and pulls. He is strong, stronger than a feverish 82-year-old man with congestive heart failure should be. Rosa leaves the phone hanging and grabs the other side of the cart. Pete, still bleeding into paper towels, kicks the brake down with his shoe. Mr. Farrow says from the bed, very clearly, "Close my door." I reach backward and pull his door shut. Mr. Beck slams into it with one shoulder. Mr. Farrow does not make a sound. Brenda comes around the corner with her hair half out of its clip. "Where is Carver?" I ask. "On her way." Corporate. Risk management wants all symptomatic residents kept in rooms pending provider orders. I almost laugh. Kept by who? Brenda does not answer because there is no answer that survives contact with the hallway. The next 20 minutes happen in pieces. We move Mr. Beck into the empty shower room because it has a door that opens outward and no oxygen lines. We put a shower chair against the inside wall and remove anything he can throw. It feels cruel. It also keeps him from reaching Mr. Farrow. Pete wraps his hand in gauze from the first aid kit and refuses to go to urgent care because he wants to know if Mr. Beck will be okay. Nina sits in the break room with her bitten finger in a clean dressing, crying without sound. Malik locks Arthur Wells in the memory care courtyard vestibule with the outer door alarm, screaming because Arthur followed the red exit sign and would not turn away. Tiffany has a bite on her forearm and a vacant look that scares me more than the wound. The building phone keeps ringing. Families call one after another. Some are angry, some are polite in a way that hurts more. Mrs. Alvarez's daughter calls at 12:18 and asks whether her mother drank the vanilla supplement because her mother always hated vanilla, and she had told dietary 3 times not to send it. I stand at the nurse station with the receiver pressed to my ear and watch Brenda write fever numbers on a paper towel because the charting system freezes. "Your mother is being monitored," I say. That is not an answer. I know. Is she alive? I look toward North Hall, where Mrs. Alvarez is back in bed with the side rails down because rails count as restraints, and the rules still exist even while the world is making fun of them. Rosa is sitting in a chair outside the room, keeping watch through the door. Mrs. Alvarez's good hand scratches at the sheet. "Yes," I say. "She is alive, then let me talk to her. She cannot come to the phone right now. Maria, do not do that care home thing. I know your voice. You tell me what happened." I close my eyes. We are told not to say names in public spaces, not to give unofficial diagnoses, not to create panic. We are also told families are part of the care team. We are told many things that cannot all be true at once. "She became very confused after supper," I say. "She has a fever. She tried to bite staff. She is not safe to move without more help. We have stopped the supplement drinks." Silence on the line, then a breath, then, "Bite? Yes. Call an ambulance. We are trying to get medical direction. Call an ambulance." I look at Brenda. She is on the other phone with Dr. Henley, saying the words aggressive behavior and cluster and possible contamination. She does not say zombie. Nobody says zombie. At that moment, the word would make us sound ridiculous. It would also be the most accurate word we have. "I will tell the registered nurse," I say. Mrs. Alvarez's daughter says, "I am coming. The doors are locked after hours. Please do not come until we can make a safe plan. You cannot stop me from seeing my mother." She hangs up. At 12:42, the director of nursing arrives wearing jeans under a long coat and shoes without socks. Her name is Patricia Carver, and she has worked in long-term care for 30 years. She can smell a surveyor before the front doors open. She can also walk into chaos and make everyone lower his or her voice. Usually that helps. Tonight it only makes the danger quieter. She signs in at the station, scans the alarm panel, then looks at Brenda. "Show me the bitten staff." "Show you the residents first," I say. Carver turns to me. "Maria, I need facts in order." "I have facts. Dinner supplement, new lot sore taste, vomiting, fever, biting during feeding, then biting during care, then wandering. It is spreading through contact." That is a conclusion. It is a conclusion. Behind her, Mr. Beck throws himself against the shower room door. Pete flinches. Carver flinches too, but covers it by smoothing her coat. "Why is Dennis in there?" she asks. "Because he bit Pete and tried to get into Mr. Farrow's room." "Did anyone administer a sedative?" Brenda says, "No standing order. Doctor advised emergency evaluation if he cannot be redirected. Then call transport." "For who?" Brenda asks. "Dennis, Ruth, Arthur, Mrs. Alvarez, Mrs. Harlan. We are already at 7 symptomatic and 3 bitten staff. Emergency medical services will not send enough ambulances for that without a declaration." Carver's jaw tightens. "No declarations from us. Not until the administrator speaks to corporate." There it is again. The building is not on fire until the right person approves the word smoke. At 1:05 in the morning, the administrator arrives. Mr. Keene is 48, polished, always in a vest, even during emergencies. He parks in the visitor spot closest to the door. I see him through the lobby glass, walking in with his laptop bag and no coat despite the cold. He looks irritated before he looks worried. That tells me he was not told enough on the phone, or he chose not to hear it. He gathers us in the charting room because it has a door. Brenda, Carver, me, Rosa, Malik, Pete with his wrapped hand, and Len from maintenance. Tiffany is in the break room, shaking. Nina has gone home against Brenda's advice, which scares me because she has a bitten finger and nobody knows what that means yet. Keane opens his laptop. Corporate risk is on standby. We need calm, we need documentation, and we need to avoid language that implies causation before investigation. Rosa says, Arthur bit Tiffany. We will document resident-to-staff injury. Mrs. Cho is bleeding. We will document resident-to-resident altercation. I step closer to the table. It is not an altercation. Arthur bit her face when she was sitting in the lounge. Keane looks at me over the laptop screen. Maria, I understand this is upsetting. No, you do not. You have not been in that hall. Carver says my name softly, a warning. I keep going. We need to call emergency services and say we have a contagious neurological event with violent biting and multiple exposures. We need families told not to come to the doors. We need the assisted living side separated. We need all nutrition drinks and water jugs held. We need gloves, gowns, face shields, and more staff. Keane types something. We cannot state contagious. Then state what is happening. We do not know what is happening. That is why we call. He exhales through his nose. County Health has an after-hours line. I will contact them after Risk approves the wording. Malik laughs once. It is not amused. Warding? Pete holds up his bandaged hand. Do I go to the hospital or not? Keane looks at Carver. Carver says yes, Pete should be evaluated. Keane says we cannot spare security until police arrive. Pete lowers his hand. Police? Keane changes direction too quickly. Only if needed. The room goes quiet. On the other side of the wall, the nurse station alarm panel begins chirping again. One bed alarm, then two, then the memory care exit alarm, then the phone. Brenda pushes past Keane and opens the charting room door. Meeting over. The hallway has changed while we argued. Mr. Farrow is out of bed. His oxygen tubing trails behind him, stretched from the concentrator in his room until it pulls free and slithers across the threshold. He is holding the wall rail with both hands. His face is gray under the lights. He has never gotten out of bed without calling in my entire time at Meadowbrook. George, I say, using his first name because the moment is bigger than manners. Stop right there. He looks at me. His eyes are clear. Thank God, clear enough. Mrs. Patel is yelling, he says. Nobody came. I turn toward room 114. Mrs. Patel's call light is on. Her door is closed. The oxygen warning sign hangs outside it. No open flames, no smoking, oxygen in use. We always notice those signs after the danger has already entered. I help Mr. Farrow into the wheelchair parked by the wall. He tries to protest, then sees my face and sits. Len reconnects the oxygen tubing to a portable tank from the emergency rack. It has half a tank. We do not have enough portable oxygen for everyone who might need it. That fact lands hard and stays there. Inside Mrs. Patel's room, Clara Dobbs is standing beside the bed. Clara should not be there. Her room is across the hall. She is smiling, nightgown dotted with spilled water, chin wet. Mrs. Patel is pressed against the far rail of the bed with her oxygen tubing wrapped around one wrist. Clara has both hands on the blanket and is leaning toward her. Clara, I say. Clara turns, her smile stays in place. She has always smiled when confused, a social habit from another life. Tonight it does not reach anything behind her eyes. Keane appears behind me and says, "Oh my God." Clara moves toward the door. I step back, pull Mrs. Patel's rolling bedside table into Clara's path and shove it hard. It hits Clara at the thighs and slows her. Rosa comes in behind me with a laundry cart, the tall canvas kind we use for sheets. Together we use it to guide Clara backward into the bathroom. Clara bites the canvas. Her teeth catch in the fabric. Rosa sobs once and keeps pushing. Len shuts the bathroom door and wedges a transfer board under it from the outside. It is not built for that. It works for the moment. Mrs. Patel keeps saying, "My son, my son, my son," in a thin voice. I check her arms and face. No bite. She clutches my sleeve with fingers cold from fear. I want to tell her everything is controlled. I do not. "We are moving you," I say. "Keep the oxygen in your nose." "Where?" "Somewhere quieter." That is the only promise I can make. We start making a safe zone because nobody in charge has a better plan. Brenda picks the physical therapy gym at the end of South Hall. It has double doors, no resident beds, a supply closet, a staff bathroom, and an exterior service corridor nearby leading toward the loading dock. It also has equipment we can move. Parallel bars, mats, stationary pedals, chairs with arms. No oxygen ports, but we have portable tanks. It is not ideal. Nothing is ideal. We move residents who are alert, unbitten, and physically movable. That sounds simple until names come attached to bodies. Mr. Farrow goes first in a wheelchair with the oxygen tank tucked between his feet. He keeps asking for his shoes. Mrs. Patel goes second, crying silently and gripping her purse because she refuses to leave without it. I do not argue. Harlan Dorsey cannot go because he is symptomatic and still trying to bite through the sheet around his hands. Ruth cannot go. Mrs. Alvarez cannot go. Clara is trapped in Mrs. Patel's bathroom. Mr. Beck is in the shower room. Arthur is in the memory care vestibule. Elaine Cho is injured and turning quiet, which might be worse. That is when the moral math begins, and I hate every number in it. Rosa brings 2 residents from North Hall. Walter James, who had refused dinner and therefore refused the supplement, and Miss Opal Reed, who cannot walk but can follow instructions if someone speaks close to her left ear. Malik gets 3 residents out of memory care through the staff corridor. Mrs. Hammond, who thinks we are going to church. Paulie Green, who keeps asking for his brother. And June Mercer, who is tiny, furious, and fully aware. She bites words but not people. I told you that drink was spoiled. June says while Malik pushes her chair. I told that kitchen girl. I know, Malik says. You do not know. You all write things down and forget them. Nobody answers because she is not wrong enough. At 1:40 in the morning, Keene finally calls 911 from the administrator office. He puts it on speaker with Carver and corporate risk, listening through his laptop. I stand in the doorway because I do not trust him to say it right. This is Meadowbrook Gardens Retirement and Rehabilitation, he says. We have a behavioral health emergency involving multiple residents and staff injuries. We may need medical transport and police support. I step into the room. Say biting, say fever, say exposure through saliva. The dispatcher asks something I cannot hear. Keene says, approximately several residents are agitated. I take the phone from him. He grabs for it. I turn away. This is Maria Vale, licensed practical nurse on South Hall. We have at least 9 residents with sudden fever, vomiting, confusion, and biting behavior after supper. 3 staff bitten, 1 resident bitten by another resident. We suspect contaminated medical nutrition or water. We cannot contain all residents. We need emergency medical services, police and county health. Families may arrive at the front entrance. Do not let responders enter without protection. Keene says, Maria. The dispatcher's voice becomes sharper. Mom, are weapons involved? No firearms, no knives. Residents are biting and grabbing. Some residents are unable to walk. Oxygen in use in multiple rooms, fire doors engaged. We are moving uninjured residents to the therapy gym near the service corridor. How many injured? At least 4 bites that broke skin. More possible. Are the aggressive individuals contained? Some, not all. The dispatcher tells me to stay on the line. I cannot. A crash comes from the hall so loud it shakes the office window. I drop the receiver on the desk and run. The memory care door is open. Not wide, just enough. The keypad panel hangs loose from the wall. Screws torn through drywall. Arthur Wells is in the main hall with blood on his lips and Tiffany behind him on the floor. Malik stands between Arthur and the residents in the therapy gym, holding a metal footrest from a wheelchair. He is not swinging it. He is using it to keep Arthur back. Arthur walks with that familiar mailman stride, steady and stubborn. His cardigan is buttoned wrong. His face is slack until he sees Malik's bare forearm. Then his mouth tightens and he reaches. Move back, I tell Malik. I cannot. Gym doors are open. Behind him, Mrs. Patel cries out. Mr. Farrow says, close the doors, damn it. He never swears. Not once in 7 years. That gets Rosa moving. She pulls one gym door shut. The other has a wheelchair in the way. Len yanks the chair clear. Arthur lunges. Malik jabs the footrest into Arthur's chest. Arthur grabs it and pulls. Malik loses balance. I step in with the laundry cart and ram it into Arthur's side. He falls against the wall rail, not down. His hand catches my scrub top pocket and tears it open. Pens and alcohol pads spill onto the floor. His teeth close inches from my shoulder. Brenda comes from the station with the fire extinguisher. She does not spray it. She uses the bottom of the cylinder to shove Arthur back into the memory care doorway. Len helps, using the mop handle across Arthur's chest. Together we force him through the doorway. Carver slams the door. The keypad is broken, so Len loops his key ring through the latch guard and twists a chain from the maintenance closet through the pull handle. It is ugly and probably illegal. It holds. Tiffany is sitting now, holding her arm. Her eyes are too wide. A crescent of broken skin shows through the torn sleeve. I washed it, she says. I washed it when it happened. When? Brenda asks. Before, in there I washed it. How long ago? Tiffany looks at the clock. I do not know. Her skin has a damp shine, sweet or fever. Her lower lip trembles. She looks 23, maybe younger. Agency sent her here with a badge, a login, and no real orientation because the building needed a body on the floor. Now she is bitten, and corporate will call her temporary labor. Brenda guides her to the staff chair. Sit. Do not go near residents. Tiffany looks offended, then she looks toward the gym doors and understands. She sits. At 2:10, the first police car pulls into the front lot. We see the blue lights through the therapy gym windows and through the lobby glass. Families arrive at the same time. Mrs. Alvarez's daughter is first, still in pajama pants under a winter coat. Mr. Beck's daughter-in-law comes next. Someone from assisted living stands outside in slippers, filming with a phone. The front doors do not open because Pete is no longer at the lobby desk. He is sitting in the nurse station, pale, sweating, and stubbornly insisting his hand is fine. Keene goes to the lobby to speak to police through the glass. He takes Carver with him. I want to be there. I cannot leave the gym. The therapy gym has become a place nobody was meant to live in. Parallel bars shoved against one door. Exercise mats stacked at the windows because Mrs. Patatel keeps asking whether someone can break in. Wheelchairs lined along the inner wall. Oxygen tanks standing in a metal rack with a towel wedged around them to stop clanking. A plastic trash bag of medications from the emergency cart sits on the desk because I had grabbed what I could. Inhalers, nitroglycerin, glucose gel, acetaminophen, spare tubing, saline, gauze. Not enough. Nothing is enough. The residents ask questions. That is the part nobody puts in disaster plans. People ask questions while you are counting gloves. Can I call my son? Where is my room? Did someone feed the cat? Why is Arthur yelling? Am I sick? Did I do something wrong? I answer each one with the smallest truth that will not hurt more than it helps. Your son knows there is an emergency. Your room is not safe right now. There is no cat here, Mrs. Hammond. But I know you are worried. Arthur is confused. You have no fever right now. You did nothing wrong. I check temperatures every 15 minutes because it gives my hand something useful to do. Mr. Farrow stays at 99.1. Mrs. Patel stays normal. June Mercer refuses the thermometer until I tell her I will write refused, and she calls that blackmail. Walter James sleeps with his chin down. Opal Reed keeps patting the arm of her wheelchair, searching for a call button that is not there. Rosa stands by the door with the mop handle. She has stopped crying. That worries me. Crying is a release. Silent stores things. Malik finds a stack of old therapy bands and ties the gym door handles to a wall bracket. This is stupid, he says. It is better than nothing. That is what stupid always says. He is right. We keep doing it anyway. At 2:28, County Emergency Medical Services calls the nurse station back. Brenda takes it on speaker from the gym because we refuse to split again. The supervisor says units are staging outside until police clear entry. Police say they need information before entering. Corporate Risk says all media questions go through administration. County Health says not to move potentially exposed individuals off-site until assessment. Every person on the phone sounds reasonable alone. Together, it means nothing happens while residents keep changing behind doors. I take the handset. People inside are actively attacking. We cannot safely assess exposure. We have oxygen-dependent residents and dementia residents. You need to either enter with protection or tell us to evacuate through service. The emergency medical supervisor asks, "Do you have any confirmed deceased?" I look at Brenda. We have not checked everyone. That truth is a weight. Rooms behind fire doors, bathrooms with residents inside, Mera Care Lounge, shower room. We have been choosing where to look by where the noise comes from. Quiet rooms wait. Quiet rooms can be worse. Unknown, I say. The supervisor pauses. Unknown is not confirmed. No, I say, it is not. I understand his problem, I do. He cannot send medics blind into a facility with biting patients, possible contamination, and unknown infection control risk. Police cannot treat residents like criminals. Health cannot declare what it has not seen. But inside the building, process feels identical to abandonment. At 2:40, Pete vomits into the nurse station trash can. Brenda sees it on the hallway camera from the gym desk monitor. The camera system is old, but still gives us grainy views. Nurse station, dining room, lobby, front entrance, memory care hall, loading dock. Pete wipes his mouth with the back of his uninjured hand and looks around, embarrassed. Then he stands and walks toward the front lobby. "Pete," Brenda says into the radio, "stay at the station." He does not answer. His radio sits on the counter. The lobby camera shows Keene and Carver at the front doors with 2 police officers outside. Petey approaches behind them. His wrapped hand is red through the gauze. His mouth moves, Carver turns. Petey grabs her by the shoulder and bites her neck. The gym goes still. On the monitor, it is small, distant, almost unreal because there is no sound from that camera. Carver drops sideways against the reception desk. Keene stumbles back and falls over the visitor chair. The officers outside yank on the locked glass doors. Pete bends over Carver. Brenda keys the radio with a hand that shakes. Front lobby breach. Staff member attacking. Police outside. Do not open interior doors. Rosa whispers, "He was fine 10 minutes ago. He was bitten around 11:35. I say, "Nobody asks why I know the time. Care work trains you to build timelines in your head. Last toileting, last medication, last intake, last seen normal, last mistake." The police break the front glass with a tool from one of the cruisers. The sound reaches us a second after the picture shows it. Pete turns toward the noise. Carver moves on the floor. I cannot tell if she is trying to crawl or if her body is only reacting. Keene gets up and runs into the administrator office, shutting the door behind him. Rosa says something in Spanish under her breath. It is not a prayer, I know. The first officer enters with a shield. The second follows with a long pole from the cruiser, the kind used for animals. Not enough. PT rushes the shield and hits it with both hands. The officer drives him back. PT falls. He gets up again. The officers shout. We hear the words now muffled through halls. "Get down. Stay down." Pete does not stay down. I turn the monitor away from the residents before anything else happens. I am too late for June. She has seen enough. "That man was sick," she says. "Yes." "Are we sick?" "I do not know." She nods once. Better answer than most. At 3 a.m, County Health finally tells us to shelter in place until a hazardous materials team arrives from the city. Arrival time unknown. Emergency medical services will remove injured staff from the front if police secure a path. Families are being pushed back from the parking lot. Assisted living is told to stay in apartments. The word outbreak is still not used on the radio. The officers call it a medical disturbance. Degosh calls it a facility incident. Corporate calls it a resident behavior cluster. Brenda writes all 3 phrases on the back of an envelope and stares at them. "It is a zombie outbreak," Malik says. Her body laughs. The word sits in the room, ugly and childish and impossible to remove. I think about every movie poster, every game, every joke people made online. Then I think about Mrs. Alvarez dragging herself down the hall with one working arm because something in her body wanted a hand in its mouth. The joke does not survive that. Brenda says, "Do not use that word with families." "No," Malik says. "Would not want to be unprofessional." His voice is sharp. Brenda lets it pass. We are past discipline and not yet at forgiveness. The next problem is water. We have residents in the gym for almost 2 hours, and some need to drink. The tap water might be safe. The dispenser water might not. The nutrition drinks are locked away. The kitchen is on the other side of the dining room, beyond the fire doors and too close to Mr. Beck's shower room. There are sealed water bottles in the staff break room. Maybe one case, donated for a staff appreciation week. Nobody appreciated. There are thickened water cups in the refrigerator, but we do not know whether the kitchen made them with dispenser water. Mrs. Pattle's mouth is dry. Mr. Farrow needs sips with pills. Apple Reed keeps licking her lips. Dehydration will hurt them long before any official team arrives. "I will get the staff water," I say. Brenda says no. It is 10 doors. Staff corridor to break room, not main hall. No alone. Then with Malik. Malik lifts the wheelchair footrest. I am promoted to water security. Rosa tries to smile and fails. We leave through the back gym door into the service corridor. The corridor runs behind therapy, laundry, staff lockers, and the kitchen receiving area. The lights are motion triggered and come on section by section, each one buzzing before it steadies. The floor is concrete, not the polished resident floor. It smells of detergent, cardboard, and the old grease trap near the kitchen. We move slowly because rushing makes noise. Malik has the footrest in one hand and a flashlight in the other. I carry a laundry bag to haul bottles back. We pass the laundry room. The washers are off. Wet sheets sit in one machine because the evening laundry aide left before finishing. The smell is already going sour. Normal life does not stop cleanly. It pauses with chores undone. At the staff lockers, we hear scratching. Malik stops. I stop behind him. The sound comes from inside the women's locker room. Not loud, fingernails on painted metal. Then a soft bump, then another. "Nina?" I say. No answer. Nina went home. I saw her leave? No. I saw her in the break room. I told her to wash. Later someone said she left. Did I see her coat gone? I cannot remember. That is how mistakes enter. Not through stupidity. Through overload. The scratching stops. Malik whispers. We do not open it. She could be alive. She could be bitten. She is bitten. He looks at me. We both know what that means now. I take the radio from my pocket. Brenda, possible staff member in women's locker room. We are not opening without support. Static. Then Brenda says, "Copy. Do not open. Get water and return." A thud hits the locker room door from inside. Malik and I step back together. The door handle turns halfway, then slips back. Nina's voice comes through the door, low and confused. "Maria?" Every part of me wants to answer. Malik shakes his head. "Maria, I feel sick." I press my thumb to the radio button and cannot speak. If I open the door, she could attack us. If I leave her, she may be trapped alone during the last human minutes she has. Care work is full of moments where every option harms somebody. Usually the harm is smaller. A missed shower, a delayed pain pill, a family call sent to voicemail. This is not smaller. "Nina," I say through the door. "Sit on the bench away from the door. I want to go home." "I know. Sit away from the door. I am so thirsty." Malik's face changes. He mouths no. I set one sealed water bottle on the floor and kick it gently so it rests against the door. There is water outside. I cannot open yet. Help is coming. That last part is not a lie yet. It is not fully true either. We keep moving. The break room door is open. The television inside is on a late-night shopping channel with bright pans nobody will buy. Half-eaten food sits on the table. Rose's rice container, Malik's sandwich. My yogurt still in my lunch bag under the chair where I left it at shift start. The case of bottled water is under the counter, unopened. We load it into the laundry bag, 24 bottles, heavy enough to cut the handle into my palm. On the way back, the locker room is quiet. The water bottle is gone. I do not know whether that comforts me. When we return to the gym, Brenda is cleaning Carver's wound on the therapy desk while Carver sits upright, pale and furious. Police got her out of the lobby but brought her to us because emergency medical services still had not entered past the front vestibule. The bite is covered with gauze. Her coat is gone. Her hair is loose around her face. She looks older than she did 2 hours ago. Carver was bitten at 2:40, Brenda says to me, not hiding it. Carver says I am not symptomatic. Petey turned in about 3 hours, I say. Pete is not evidence. Petey is a person. Carver looks away. Keene is not with her. I ask where he is. Brenda says he locked himself in the administrator office until police took him out through the broken lobby door. He is outside now, on the phone, probably giving statements with words polished down to nothing. I start handing out water. Small sips, slow, no shared bottles. I write initials on labels with marker. Mortafaro watches me. "You think the water did it too," he says. "I think some water might have been bad." "This bottle?" "No, staff case, sealed." He takes the bottle but does not drink. "Do you think I am going to turn?" I hate the word from his mouth. "You had the supplement." "I know. You have a low fever. That does not mean the same thing for everyone." "Maria." I kneel so we are level. He is a proud man. I will not make him look up at me for this. "I do not know," I say. He nods. "Then do not let me hurt Mrs. Patel." "I will not." He gives me a look that says he knows promises can break. He drinks one careful sip. At 3:32, the power flickers. The generator catches after 3 seconds, but 3 seconds is enough for every resident in the gym to make a sound. The emergency lights come on red near the exits. The air handler shuts off, then restarts with a groan. Somewhere in the building, a monitor alarm resets. The camera screen goes black and comes back with 4 feeds missing. Maricare Hall is gone. Dining room is gone. Loading dock is still up. Lobby is still up, though cracked glass distorts the image. Len says, "Generator is fine." That was utility. "Can you check?" Brenda asks. "Not alone. Nobody volunteers. That tells us how far we have fallen. 2 hours ago, checking the generator was a maintenance task. Now a hallway is a risk calculation. The radio from the police channel, borrowed by Brenda from an officer at the lobby, crackles with words we are not meant to hear. Additional units, county command. Possible exposure event, family members at perimeter. One officer requesting gloves and face protection. Another saying a resident is visible through a window on the east side, banging head and hands against glass. That is memory care. East side. Mrs. Hammond hears the banging through the wall before we do. She turns her head and says, "Arthur wants in." "No, sweetheart," Rosa says. "Arthur is not coming in here." Mrs. Hammond nods, trusting her because trust is all she has left. At 3:50, Carver starts vomiting. Brenda moves fast, guiding her away from residents toward the staff bathroom. Carver tries to wave her off, then grabs the sink with both hands and bends forward. The sound makes every person in the gym go quiet. Rosa pulls residents farther back. Malik reties the therapy bands on the doors. I stand outside the bathroom with clean gloves and a disposable gown from the therapy closet, the last gown in the room. Carver rinses her mouth and looks at me in the mirror. Her eyes are wet. "Do not say it." "I was not going to. I should have called sooner." "Yes." She flinches. "People say they want honesty. Usually they want absolution with truth-shaped edges. I have no absolution to give her. Not now." She turns from the sink. "My husband thinks I am at a fall assessment. I am sorry. I told him not to wait up." She laughs once, a dry little sound, then she looks at the bite dressing on her neck. "How long?" "Pete was around 3 hours. Nina maybe less. We do not have enough to know." "What do you need?" The question steadies me because it is finally useful. "Your master keys, door codes, permission to evacuate through loading if front is blocked, permission to leave resident charts behind if we have to choose between paper and bodies. And I need you to tell corporate to shut up." Carver closes her eyes, then reaches into her pants pocket. She gives me her key ring. Her hand is shaking. Door code to assisted living breezeway is 2491 pound. Dervis exit is keyed. Alarmed loading dock roll-up has a manual chain. Oxygen storage cage key is the brass one with green tape. "Health," said Shelter. "Health is not in this bathroom." She grips my wrist, not hard, human. "If I change, do not let me near residents." "I will not." "And Maria?" "Yes, make the list." I know what she means. Long-term care runs on lists. Shower list, wait list, fall risk list, bowel list, oxygen list, diet list, family call list, do not hospitalize list, full code list. The wrong list can shame a person. The right list can save him or her from being erased. I leave Carver with Brenda and start writing. I use the back of old therapy schedules first, then printer paper from the gym cabinet. Names some numbers. Last known condition, exposure if known, mobility, oxygen, family contact. I write fast and plain. Alvarez Sophia, room 123, drank vanilla supplement, fever, biting, bedbound. Daughter Elena notified and outside. Beck Dennis, 115, drank supplement. Bit security, contained in south shower room. Ambulatory, daughter-in-law outside. Kessler, Ruth, 119. Drank supplement, fever, attempted bites, in bed at last check. Ambulatory with assist. Wells, Arthur. Memory care, bit staff and resident. Contained behind memory care door. Strong walker. Cho Elaine, memory care lounge, bitten by Wells, last seen sitting, condition unknown. The list grows until it stops being a document and becomes a witness. Mr. Farrow asks what I am writing. I tell him. He asks me to spell his daughter's name right. I DeLorean with one U? No Laura, no U. He is very firm. I write Laura. At 4:10, the loading dock camera shows movement, not responders, a resident. The camera points down at the concrete service area behind the building. A dumpster sits to the left. The roll-up door is closed. The staff entrance is to the right with a keypad. Under the yellow light, a figure in a pale nightgown walks slowly along the painted curb. At first I think it is Clara, but Clara is trapped in Mrs. Paddle's bathroom unless she got out. Then the figure turns enough for the camera to catch her face, Mrs. Alvarez. Rosa covers her mouth. Mrs. Alvarez is outside. Bedbound Sophia Alvarez is outside at the loading dock, dragging one foot, one arm hanging useless. Her good hand scrapes along the brick wall. Her face is turned toward the service door. "How?" Malik says. The answer appears behind her. The laundry chute door from North Hall is open. It does not go straight outside. But the soiled linen room has a service exit staff sometimes prop during deliveries. Somebody left it unsecured. Mrs. Alvarez must have moved through the hall, through the linen room, and out. The effort should have been impossible. It was not impossible for the infection, or for whatever the infection does to a body before it uses it up. A second figure enters the frame. Nina. She is still in scrubs. Her hair is down. She walks unevenly, one hand pressed to the wall, mouth open. The bitten finger is unwrapped. She does not look at Mrs. Alvarez. Both move toward the same service door because it has a keypad light, and maybe because human habits remain after everything else is damaged. That door leads to the corridor behind our gym. Len says, "I can kill the keypad from maintenance." "Do it," Brenda says. He looks toward the service corridor. Maintenance office is past laundry. The camera shows Nina reaching the door. She presses her hand against it. The door does not open. She hits it once with her palm. Mrs. Alvarez reaches the door behind her and presses her mouth to the metal push plate. Mrs. Patel begins to pray under her breath. Mr. Farrow asks for another oxygen tank because his is getting low. The generator hum changes pitch. The gym smells of sweat, disinfectant, old rubber mats, and fear nobody names. We need to leave before the loading dock becomes unusable. The thought arrives complete. It is not brave. It is practical. I say it out loud. We cannot wait. Brenda turns from Carver, who is now sitting on the bathroom floor with a towel in her hands. We cannot take them into the service corridor with Nina and Sophia outside that door. We use the inner corridor to laundry, then loading dock roll-up, not the staff door. Len opens manual chain from inside. Police are at the front. But front hall has Pete, Carver's exposure, glass, families, and media by now. Loading dock has 2 infected outside and maybe no responders. We can move faster than Mrs. Alvarez. Nina is fresh, but she is outside the staff door. If we go through roll-up, we come out 15 feet away and go right toward the ambulance bay. Malik says, "That is a lot of if." It is. June Mercer says, "Better than sitting in here waiting to become paperwork." No one corrects her language. Brenda looks at the residents. 7 in wheelchairs, 1 on oxygen, 1 able to walk with a walker. Carver bitten and symptomatic. Tiffany bitten and quiet in the corner. Pet gone, Nina gone. Multiple infected behind doors. Police at front and response outside. The clean plan does not exist. Brenda says, "We move only green residents." The phrase hurts. Green means safe enough to move. Not safe, not untouched safe enough. "Carver," I ask. Carver lifts her head from the bathroom doorway. "No," Brenda says. "Patricia." "No." Carver's voice is rough. "I am bitten and vomiting. I stay. Give me a radio." "You cannot stay alone. I will not be alone long." Nobody speaks. Carver looks at me. "Take my keys. Take the list. Leave a copy at the nurse station and 1 at the loading dock. If responders get in, they need names." Brenda kneels beside her. "I can give you something for fever." Carver laughs again, smaller. "Still charting comfort measures during the end of the world. Do you want it or not?" "Yes," that is Brenda. Still a nurse when every rule is broken. We prepare to move. Preparation in long-term care is ugly and slow. Wheelchair brakes checked. Footrests attached or removed depending on speed. Oxygen tubing shortened so it does not catch. Purses placed in laps because taking them away causes panic. Blankets tucked under wheels. Water bottles passed out. Medication bag tied shut. 1 resident per staff if possible, except it is not possible. Len will handle the loading dock chain. Malik will push Mr. Farrow because of oxygen. Rosa will push Mrs. Patel. Brenda will push Opal Reed and carry the medication bag. I will take June Mercer, who insists she can wheel herself but cannot over thresholds. Walter James will walk with the walker between us. Paulie Green and Mrs. Hammond will share guidance from Rosa's voice, because both follow her best. We leave Tiffany in the therapy office because she is bitten and feverish now. That sentence is short because the actual moment is not. Tiffany begs, not loudly. That would be easier to categorize. She asks Brenda to call her mother. She says she does not want to be locked in. She says she washed it. She says she did everything right. Brenda writes her mother's number on the list and gives Tiffany a bottle of water, then closes the office door. The office has a window to the gym. Tiffany watches us through it with 1 hand pressed to the glass. I cannot look at her for long. Carver stays in the staff bathroom with the radio. Before we go, she says through the cracked door, "Maria." I turn. "Do not make it clean in your head later." It was not clean, it was still right. I do not know whether she believes that. I nod because she needs me to. At 4:33, we open the back gym door. The service corridor lights come on section by section again. This time the buzzing sounds too loud. Malik goes first with the footrest. I follow with June. Her wheelchair front casters catch on the threshold. She hisses at me to lift, not shove. She is right. I tilt the chair and get her through. The others follow in a line that would make a fire marshal furious. Brenda keeps whispering. Slow is smooth. Keep moving. The corridor is clear to laundry. At the locker room door, there is blood on the handle and a smear down the paint. The door is open 2 inches. I keep walking. That is one of the things I will hate myself for and still defend. I keep walking. From somewhere behind us, the gym door bumps. Rosa turns. Do not stop, Brenda says. Another bump, then Tiffany's voice, distorted by the door and fever. Brenda? Brenda closes her eyes while walking. She does not answer. We reach laundry. Len slips ahead to the receiving area. The roll-up door chain hangs beside the loading bay. He pulls once and the door groans. Too loud. Everything is too loud. The metal slats rise inch by inch. Cold air enters under the door and moves along the floor. The smell of wet pavement and dumpster rot comes in with it. The camera did not show the space under the loading platform. It did not show Mr. Beck. He is crouched near the stacked pallets, still in the pajama pants and undershirt, cane gone. I do not know how he got out of the shower room. Maybe the door latch failed. Maybe someone opened it. Maybe we never secured it well. He turns toward the sound of the roll-up door. His face is swollen around the mouth. His hands are scratched from pushing through something. He sees us and stands. Len freezes with both hands on the chain. Up, I say. Len, keep going. Mr. Beck moves faster than Mrs. Alvarez. Fresh enough or strong enough, I do not know. He comes across the receiving area toward the wheelchairs. Malik steps forward with the footrest. Mr. Beck grabs it and pulls. Exactly the way Arthur did, Malik lets go this time. Mr. Beck stumbles backward with the footrest in his hands. Malik grabs a laundry cart and drives it straight into him, pinning him against the pallet stack. Move! Malik shouts. Rosa pushes Mrs. Paddle past. Mrs. Paddle's oxygen tank catches on a pallet corner. I drop June's handles and kick the tank free. June yells, "Do not leave me parked, girl. I am not leaving you." Nina appears outside the rising door. She is at the staff entrance, 10 feet away, turning toward the noise. Mrs. Alvarez is behind her, slower, dragging along the wall. The roll-up door is only chest high. Len pulls harder. The chain bites into his palms. The door rises another foot. Brenda ducks under first with Opal Reed, tipping the wheelchair back hard. Opal curses, fully awake now. Walter James follows with the walker. Shaking so badly the walker legs scrape concrete. Rosa gets Mrs. Patel through. Malik still has Mr. Beck pinned, but the laundry cart wheels slide on spilled detergent from a cracked jug. Mr. Beck pushes it back inch by inch. "Malik," I shout. "Go." I do not go. I shove June's chair under the door, duck after her. Then turn back. Malik releases the cart and runs. Mr. Beck falls forward over it. Malik dives under the door. Mr. Beck grabs his shoe. The shoe comes off. Malik kicks free and rolls onto the loading dock in one sock. Len lets go of the chain and ducks under last. The door drops 6 inches, then catches. Mr. Beck hits it from inside with both hands. Outside is not safe. It is only bigger. The loading dock has 2 police officers near the ambulance bay now, both wearing gloves and paper masks that look pathetic in the yellow light. One officer points a flashlight at us and shouts for us to stop. Behind him, an ambulance idles with rear doors open. Families are behind yellow tape at the far lot. Yelling names, I hear Mom and Dad and Sophia and Dennis all at once. No one hears answers. Nina comes toward the dock. Rosa sees her first and puts herself between Nina and Mrs. Patel. The officer raises his baton and tells Nina to get down. Nina does not understand. She reaches for him. He shoves her back with the baton across her chest. She falls on the wet pavement, then starts getting up. No one wants to be the first person to treat a nurse aide as gone. That hesitation nearly costs us. Nina turns from the officer and grabs Walter James by the sleeve. Walter loses the walker. I pull him back by the waistband of his pajama pants, the fabric tears. Malik steps in, one shoe missing, and kicks the walker sideways between Nina's legs. She trips over it. Brenda and the officer drag Walter toward the ambulance. Mrs. Alvarez reaches the edge of the dock. She cannot climb it. She presses her good hand to the concrete lip and looks up at us. Her daughter is screaming from the tape line. I know it is Elena without seeing her face. "Mom! Mom! Mrs. Alvarez turns toward the voice. For 1 second, she is only an old woman on the ground with her daughter nearby. Then her mouth opens, and the sound that comes out has no words in it. Alina tries to break through the tape. An officer catches her. She fights him. Not because she is stupid, because love does not accept quarantine language from strangers in parking lots. I push June toward the ambulance. June reaches back and grabs my sleeve. "List," she says. "I have it. Not in your pocket. Put it where someone official has to touch it." She is right. I leave June with Brenda and run back to the loading dock wall. There is a clipboard hanging beside the receiving log, protected by a cracked plastic cover. I pull out the sign-in sheets and shove my resident list inside the cover. Then I take the second copy and tape it to the wall with packing tape from the shelf. The tape sticks badly because the wall is cold. I press it with both hands. Names, room numbers, last known. It is not enough. It is what I have. A crash comes from inside the roll-up door. Then another. Mr. Beck is still hitting it, or someone else has joined him. Len grabs my arm. "We need to go. I need the rest of the list." "You have it." No mere care names, assisted living separation, staff exposures. He points to the clipboard. "Maria, go." The police officer at the ambulance shouts that we have to move now. The hazardous materials team is still not here. Emergency medical services will take only the green residents first, then bitten staff under police direction. Green residents, yellow staff, red unknown. We have turned people into colors because bodies take too long to say. I climb into the ambulance with Mrs. Patel, Mr. Farrow, Opal, and June. It is too many for one ambulance, and the medic says so. Brenda tells him to file a complaint after he drives. Malik sits on the floor by the doors. Rosa stays outside with Mrs. Hammond and Polly, waiting for the next unit. Walter James is in a police sport utility vehicle because he can sit upright and answer questions. Len stays by the loading dock to help open the oxygen cage for responders. He gives me a thumbs up that does not fool either of us. Before the doors close, I see Carver at the service corridor window. She is behind the small reinforced pane in the door from the gym corridor. One hand is on the glass. Her face is pale. Her mouth is clean. For the moment, she is still there. Still Patricia Carver, director of nursing. Flawed, late, frightened, and still trying. She raises the radio in her other hand. The ambulance doors close. The medic tells me to sit. I do not. I lean forward between the stretchers and watch through the narrow rear window. The building moves away in pieces. Loading dock light, dumpster, brick wall, broken front glass far off near the lobby. Families held at the tape, police lights. The east wing windows with movement behind curtains. Meadowbrook Gardens does not look destroyed. That is the worst part. It looks open for business except for the lights and the people crying outside. Mrs. Patatel asks where we are going. "The hospital," I say. "Will my son know?" "Yes. I do not know that. I say it because Brenda is already on the radio giving names to dispatch, because families are already outside, because somebody will tell him. It might even be me if my phone still has battery when we stop." Mr. Farrow says, "Maria." I turn. He has removed the oxygen cannula from one nostril by accident. I fix it. "My fever?" he asks. I put the thermometer to his forehead. The ambulance rocks over a pothole and the first reading fails. I try again, 100.4. He sees my face. "Higher a little. Do I go in the green group?" I do not answer fast enough. June says from the bench, "George, hush. She is tired of lying." He smiles, just a little. I was asking for the truth. I sit on the metal bench because my legs finally tell me the night has been long. "You are exposed. You are not aggressive. You are alert. You are with us." "For now," he says. "For now," I agree. That is how the first quiet phase of the outbreak leaves Meadowbrook. Not with sirens saving everyone. Not with one clean evacuation. Not with the truth arriving in time. It leaves through a loading dock in wheelchairs, with one resident missing a slipper, one aide missing a shoe, one nurse holding a list in her pocket because the copy on the wall might fall down before anyone reads it. At the hospital, they put us in an ambulance bay corridor behind plastic sheeting. Security stands at both ends. A doctor in a face shield asks me what we know. I give him the packing slip from my scrub pocket Ridicare. Complete vanilla, lot C17, plant code 9, emergency delivery at 2:15 p.m. I tell him about the water jugs. I tell him about saliva and bites. I tell him about Pete Nina Carver, Sophia Alvarez, Arthur Wells, Dennis Beck, Tiffany, Elaine Cho. I tell him until my throat hurts and he stops asking me to slow down. He writes it all down. That matters more than people think. At 6:20 in the morning, a county official comes to the corridor and asks for the Meadowbrook staff member who made the initial 911 report. Brenda points at me. I am sitting on the floor beside Mrs. Patel's wheelchair because there are no chairs left and Mrs. Patel will not let go of my sleeve. The official asks if I can make a statement. I ask if the building is cleared. He does not answer. I ask if the residents left inside are recorded by name. He says teams are working through the facility. I ask again. By name, he looks at the papers in his hand. We have partial rosters. I pull the folded list from my pocket. It is creased, dirty, and wet at one corner from somebody's spilled water or somebody's tears. I do not know which. I hand it to him but keep hold of the edge until he looks at me. Those are people, I say. Not beds, not rooms, not exposure categories. People. Some were alive when we left. Some were sick. Some were trapped because we did not have enough hands. If you speak to families, use names. He nods. It is the kind of nod officials give when grief is not in the form. I still let go of the paper. Behind me, Mr. Farrow coughs. Mrs. Patel whispers for her son. June tells a nurse that the hospital coffee is criminal. Malik sits against the wall with one bare foot tucked under his leg, staring at nothing. Rosa is somewhere in intake with Mrs. Hammond and Polly. Brenda is arguing with infection control because she will not leave the residence until someone else takes report properly. My phone buzzes with messages from numbers I know and numbers I do not. Families, staff news, alerts. A text from Nina's sister asking whether I have seen her. I cannot open that one yet. The television in the corridor is muted. Closed captions crawl under a morning anchor's face. Possible contamination incident at local retirement facility. Multiple injuries. Officials investigating. No threat to the public at this time. No threat to the public. I look at the residents behind plastic. At the medics stripping gloves into red bags. At the officer wiping his baton with shaking hands. At the doctor reading my list. I think about the cases of vanilla drink locked in the med room. I think about the blue water caps in the dining room sink. I think about how many facilities use the same supplier. How many night aides are clocking in tired. How many residents will make a face at a sour drink and finish it anyway because waste feels rude. The story they tell later will probably start when police broke the lobby glass, or when the first emergency alert went out, or when someone outside finally used the word outbreak. That is not where it started. It started at supper, with a carton on a tray and a straw bent toward a woman who trusted us to feed her. It started with staff too tired to question a sour taste, managers too scared to use plain words, and a system built to hide weakness until weakness became a locked door with someone still behind it. My name is Maria Weil. I was the night nurse on South Hall. I wrote the list before we left. If anyone says the residents were already gone before help arrived, do not believe that. Some were still waiting. Some were still themselves. Some heard us leave. I know because I heard them calling while the loading dock door came down.